Hello everybody. Today I am going to share my grandmother Marion's recipe for persimmon cookies. If you're not familiar with persimmons, there are two general types of persimmons. One is for baking. That's what we have here. It's the Hachia persimmon. The other is a round, flat persimmon, and it's more like an apple that you would just eat from the tree. So to get the pulp from these, you want to use them when they're really mushy, not when they're hard like this. So you have to take their time and let them ripen. You can put them in a bowl with a towel over them by the window and they can ripen a little bit faster. But I've just had these on the counter, just ripening on their own. And what I do is just cut them in half. I would even let it get a little more ripe than that. More like this one right here. Just cut it in half. If there's any seeds in there, you'll want to remove them. And then you just scrape the pulp from the skin. Now the skin of this fruit is very delicate and it tears pretty easily. Just get a spoon, or I like to use the back of a knife. You can see it gets in there a lot faster with a knife. Now this recipe uses 1 cup of the puree. Okay, I've measured out 1 cup of the puree and I'm just mashing it up a little bit with a fork. It doesn't have to be perfectly smooth, just getting most of those large clumps out. All right, we're gonna go ahead and set that to the side and we're gonna work with our dry ingredients first. I have the flour, salt, baking soda, cinnamon, and I'm using allspice, but her recipe calls for cloves and nutmeg. Just go ahead and whisk this to combine. And then we'll set to the side. Now it's very important on this recipe, do not try to swap out butter for the margarine. The margarine is what's going to keep this light and fluffy. So we have margarine, sugar, and an egg. And do this by hand instead of a mixer. You're gonna have a better result. The egg really helps you to get this moving. Now my Uncle John is the one that set me straight on using butter versus margarine. I had shared with him that my persimmon cookies using Grandma's recipe didn't work out. And come to find out, the butter made my cookies flat. So just use margarine and do it by hand. You're gonna have a good result. All right, we've got butter, egg, and margarine whipped up. Next comes the puree. I'm gonna mix that in. And then just stir in all the flour. Okay, I'm going to switch over now to a large spatula to finish stirring this. And I'm going to add 1 cup raisins. Now her recipe also included 1 cup walnuts. So just give that a stir. I am going to bake these on a baking sheet lined with parchment, just so they don't stick. All right. And just like Grandma did, I'm going to use a large spoon. And you want to just come in there and scoop them and just scoot the dough off of the spoon using a butter knife. You want these nice and billowy, have a little bit of height to them. Just let the cookie just pile right up. Okay, these are ready for the oven. They are going to bake in the center rack of a 350-degree oven until they're golden brown. All right. Okay, these have baked for a half an hour. And they came out nice and billowy. Look at that. The margarine makes all the difference. What I'm going to do is just transfer these to a wire rack so they can cool. So there they are. Grandma's persimmon cookies, made the old-fashioned way by hand. What you'll want to do is let these cool to room temperature before you store them in an airtight container. A Tupperware would be nice, and then you could just put a row down and put parchment between the rows of cookies to keep them from sticking together. I'm just going to recycle this parchment. This doesn't have to be beautiful. I'm just going to go ahead and let them finish cooling like that, and then tomorrow I'll put the lid on them. But truthfully, these aren't going to last long. I'm not going to bother with putting them in Tupperware, because these will go really fast because I haven't made persimmon cookies in years, probably 5 years or more. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial on Marion's persimmon cookies. And I just wanted to share one of my favorite ways to eat this persimmon cookie is warm out of the oven with a little bit of butter smeared right on the bottom. They're so delicious. Look at that. It's like a nice little spice cake. Can you believe as a child that I liked persimmon cookies? I mean, there's chocolate chip, oatmeal, and all these other ones, but I liked persimmon cookies. Try this recipe and I think you'll like it too. And as always, remember to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for watching this video.